Welcome back to my YouTube channel Numerous Vault Treasures. Imagine this, a simple penny, yes, the kind you leave in your car's cup holder, suddenly turning into a fortune worth over $500,000. Now here's the twist, one of the most ordinary looking pennies from 2009, with no mint mark at all, has shocked collectors with a jaw-dropping market value of $543,000, and some variations are rumored to climb into the millions. Sounds unbelievable, right? But before you brush it off as just another coin story, let me ask you, how many 2009 pennies have slipped through your fingers without you even noticing? What if one of them could have been your golden ticket to wealth? Seriously though, if you're still tossing pennies into fountains, stop making wishes, you might be throwing away your retirement plan. In 2009, the U.S. Mint celebrated the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth by releasing a special series of pennies. While millions were produced, some of these coins, especially the ones with no mint mark, carry hidden errors, rare conditions, or pristine states that make collectors go wild. And here's where it gets fascinating, certain 2009 pennies without a mint mark have been auctioned for astronomical figures. Why? Because rarity in coin collecting isn't always about age, it's about perfection, scarcity, and demand. Now think about this every day, people unknowingly spend or give away these coins. They vanish into circulation, never to be seen again. The fear isn't just missing out, it's realizing that you already had one and let it slip away. But here's the question that could change everything: how do you know if that ordinary penny in your pocket is worth a few cents or enough to buy a house? Stay with me, because in a moment, I'll reveal the exact signs that separate a common penny from a life-changing fortune. First, check the mint mark. If your penny shows no mint mark under the date, that's your starting point. Next, inspect for errors, double die strikes, off-center designs, or unusual lettering. These quirks are what transform a pocket coin into a masterpiece. And then comes the real game changer: condition. If your penny is in near-perfect mint state, shiny, untouched, almost flawless, it could skyrocket in value. One of these pristine examples recently fetched an incredible $543,000 on the open market. So next time someone says, "It's just a penny," you might want to laugh and say, "Yeah, tell that to my $500,000 copper buddy." But here's the urgency: time is not on your side. Coins wear down. They get scratched, damaged, lost. Every day, fewer perfect specimens remain. The longer you wait to check, the more your chances of missing out slip away. And now, the million-dollar question: could you be sitting on a hidden fortune without even knowing it? Don't dismiss those pennies in your jar, your wallet, or even under the couch cushions. That one coin could be your ticket to financial freedom. So, go check your change. Search your drawers. Revisit those jars collecting dust. Because opportunity doesn't always come wrapped in gold or diamonds, sometimes it hides in copper. If you found this eye-opening, don't stop here. Subscribe now, because in my next video, I'll uncover another ordinary coin that is secretly sold for millions. You do not want to miss it. Imagine holding a penny in your hand, worth not 1 cent, not $1, not even $1,000, but $743,000. Yes, you heard that right, less than an inch of copper, minted in 1968, carrying an S mark, could unlock a fortune so large it could change your life forever. But here's the twist: most people who owned this penny had no idea. They spent it on bubblegum, groceries, or maybe dropped it between the couch cushions. And that mistake? It cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, I don't know about you, but if I lost nearly $750,000 to a couch cushion, I'd probably set that couch on fire. So, how can you make sure you're not the one tossing away generational wealth and pocket change? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, we're going to uncover the shocking truth about the 1968 Lincoln penny, how to spot the rare variations, and most importantly, how a simple coin could turn you into a millionaire. And trust me, the rarest detail about this penny is hiding in plain sight, where almost no one ever looks. To understand why this penny is worth up to $743,000, we have to step back in time to 1968, San Francisco. The U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies. But among these, a rare batch came out with striking errors, misprints, doubled features, and unusual anomalies that would later send collectors into a frenzy. These error coins are the golden tickets of the numismatic world. One wrong strike, one imperfect die, and suddenly a penny becomes a one-in-a-million masterpiece. Collectors aren't paying small change for these mistakes. They're paying life-changing money. And to think, the only time most of us notice a penny is when it's stuck to the bottom of our shoe. Now, what makes the 1968's Lincoln penny so extraordinary? Two main factors: the San Francisco Mint market sell for the ultra-rare double die obverse, where Abraham Lincoln's profile and lettering appear slightly doubled. This doubling is nearly invisible at first glance, but under magnification, it's a treasure map leading straight to wealth. And here's the secret no one tells you: even experienced coin collectors have missed this variation, letting fortunes slip right through their fingers. Here's the frightening part: millions of Americans have unknowingly spent rare 1968's pennies in everyday transactions. Some of those coins are still out there, sitting in jars, drawers, or piggy banks. That means you might already own one and not even know it. Think about it. What if the key to a wealthy lifestyle, a home paid in cash, no debt, financial freedom, was already sitting in your coin jar? Would you just leave it there? Because for those who do discover this penny, it has meant unlocking a future they never thought possible. So, how do you know if your penny is worth a fortune? Here's what you need to look for: a clear S under the date 1968. Examine the date in Lincoln's portrait. If you notice shadowed or doubled features, you may be holding a jackpot. Uncirculated or proof conditions can skyrocket value beyond belief. And if you're thinking, well, I'll just squint harder at every penny I find, please, get a magnifying glass. Your eyes will thank you. Today, collectors are paying up to $743,000 for the finest examples of the 1968 South Lincoln Center. That's not hype, that's a verified market reality. Ask yourself this: are you going to keep treating pennies like worthless pocket change, or are you ready to treat them as keys to freedom, wealth, and a new life? The 1968's penny is more than copper. It's a reminder that hidden wealth is everywhere if you have the eyes to see it. So check your coins, because the next time you flip a penny, you might just flip your entire future. And here's the kicker: there's another penny, even rarer than the 1968's, hiding in plain sight. But that's a story for the next video, so make sure you don't miss it. Imagine this. You reach into your pocket, pull out a handful of change, and tucked between nickels and dimes is a penny. Nothing special, right? But what if I told you that tiny coin, just 1 cent, could be worth nearly $543,000 today, and in rare cases, even millions? Yes, you heard me right. A single 1960 Lincoln cent could transform your life. And no, this isn't one of those late-night infomercials where they try to sell you a magic flashlight. This is real, documented, and sitting in pockets, jars, and drawers across America. But here's the danger: thousands of people unknowingly spend these rare pennies every single day at gas stations, grocery stores, and vending machines, completely oblivious that they just tossed away a fortune. So the question is, do you have one? Or have you already let it slip through your fingers? Let's uncover the story of the 1960 Lincoln penny. Minted in Denver, this coin came in two distinct varieties, the small date and the large date. Collectors across the globe are obsessed with the small date version, especially when it comes with rare errors or pristine conditions. And here's where it gets thrilling. In 2019, one of these pennies, graded at the highest level by professionals, sold for a jaw-dropping $543,000 at auction. Why? Because collectors don't just see coins, they see history, rarity, and prestige. And when demand collides with scarcity, values skyrocket. Think of it like high school prom: everyone wants to dance with the one person who's already taken. Rarity creates desire. Desire creates value. And value? That's your ticket to financial freedom. But don't be fooled: just because it's from 1960 doesn't mean every penny is worth millions. You need to know exactly what to look for. In a moment, I'll reveal the exact details you need to spot if your penny could be worth a life-changing fortune, details that even seasoned collectors sometimes overlook. So, what makes your 1960 penny stand out? First, look closely at the date. The small date variety is king. The numbers in 1960 appear slightly thinner and closer together. Second, check for mint errors. Some pennies show double dies, where the numbers or letters look slightly doubled. These mistakes can add hundreds of thousands to the value. And third, condition matters. A penny that's been sitting untouched in a drawer could be worth hundreds of thousands, while one that's been circulated heavily might only fetch a few dollars. So yes, that coffee jar full of pennies in your kitchen might not just be spare change, it could be your retirement plan disguised as loose change. But here's the catch: time is not your friend. As more collectors snatch these coins up, availability shrinks and prices climb higher. Waiting could mean missing out forever. And the biggest twist? There's one more detail about the 1960 penny that could make yours far more valuable than you ever imagined: its provenance. If your penny can be traced back to a famous auction, or comes with a certification from a top grading company, it instantly multiplies in worth. Imagine turning a penny into $500,000 just because you had the foresight to check. So here's my challenge to you: tonight, open that coin jar. Dig into your drawers. Search your piggy banks. Because that one dusty penny you've ignored for decades could be your key to financial freedom. Don't just dream of wealth, uncover it, right in your own home. And if you think the 1960 penny is incredible, wait until you hear about the dime from the 1970s that's turning ordinary people into millionaires. That story is coming up next. Imagine this. You're cleaning out an old drawer, brushing away the dust, and tucked between forgotten receipts and a broken watch, you find a simple 1987 Lincoln penny. Worth 1 cent, right? Just a tiny copper coin you'd toss aside without a second thought. But what if I told you this same penny could be worth not just thousands, not even hundreds of thousands, but over $437,000 today? Yes, that's the current market value. And if you're thinking, no way, a penny can't be worth that much, stay with me. Because the story behind this coin may just be the turning point to your financial destiny. And hey, if you ever dropped a penny in the couch and thought, it's just 1 cent, forget it, you might want to start flipping those cushions tonight. Let's set the stage. The year was 1987. Ronald Reagan was president, Wall Street was booming, and penny production was shifting. The Denver Mint, marked by the tiny D mint mark, was producing millions of Lincoln cents. To most Americans, these pennies were pocket change, but here's the twist: hidden in this mountain of coins were rare errors, unique conditions, and near-perfect strikes that turned an ordinary cent into a treasure chest of wealth. Think of it like a lottery ticket you've been carrying around in your pocket for decades, unclaimed, unnoticed, waiting for you to cash it in. But what exactly makes a 1987 penny worth more than a luxury home? And how can you tell if the coin in your pocket is worth life-changing money? Let's dig deeper. Numismatists, the experts of coin collecting, have uncovered that certain 1987 Lincoln cents carry extraordinary value. Some were minted with rare die errors, making their features slightly off-center, doubled, or struck with anomalies. Others were preserved in pristine condition, untouched by circulation, shining like the day they were born in Denver. And here's where the magic happens. At auctions, collectors compete fiercely, and the price skyrockets. One such coin recently sold for an astounding $437,000. That's not speculation, that's the current market reality. To put that into perspective, that's like turning a penny into a Lamborghini, or better yet, paying off a house, college tuition, and still having money to invest. Now, if you're checking your pockets right now, don't panic. Just don't start biting your pennies to test them. That only works with chocolate coins. But here's the real question: how do you know if your 1987 penny is one of the golden tickets? Because without the right knowledge, you could be sitting on a fortune and never know it. Here's the frightening truth. Many people have already spent or lost their rare pennies simply because they didn't recognize what they had. Imagine selling your childhood piggy bank at a garage sale, only for someone else to discover a penny inside worth nearly $500,000. That's why time is not your friend here. These coins are being found, graded, and sold every single day. And the longer you wait to check your own collection, the greater the risk of missing out. Remember, knowledge delayed is opportunity lost. So, how do you make sure you don't let this chance slip through your fingers? Check your coins. Look for that D mint mark from 1987. Examine condition. If it looks uncirculated, flawless, or unusual, you may be holding a jackpot. Get it appraised. Professional grading services can verify the rarity and instantly boost the coin's value. This isn't just about finding a coin. It's about unlocking wealth that's been silently waiting for you. Imagine the doors that open: freedom from debt, investment opportunities, and yes, even living the wealthy lifestyle you've always dreamed of. And here's something most people don't know: the 1987 D penny is just the beginning. There are other modern coins hiding in plain sight, coins in your very own pocket change, that could turn you into the next unexpected millionaire. Want to know which ones they are? That's a story for another video. So before you spend that next penny, stop and look closely. Your fortune might already be in your hands. If you found value in this video, hit subscribe and join a community of people just like you, people turning their pocket change into prosperity. And don't forget to tap the bell icon so you never miss the chance to discover the next millionaire making coin. After all, wealth isn't always found in banks or stock markets. Sometimes it's hiding in the smallest coin in your pocket. What if I told you that the penny sitting in your change jar right now could be worth more than your house? In fact, one ordinary-looking 1969 D Lincoln 1-cent penny recently sold for an astonishing $847,000. Yes, you heard that right, $847,000 for just 1 cent. And before you roll your eyes and think, that can't be real, let me ask you this: how many times have you tossed pennies aside, thinking they were worthless? What if, in that pile of forgotten coins, you've been sitting on a fortune this whole time? Imagine explaining to your friends that you became a millionaire because you actually didn't leave your pennies at the gas station counter. Suddenly, being that person who saves pennies doesn't sound so bad, does it? To understand why the 1969 D penny is worth nearly $1 million, we need to step back in time. The year was 1969. America had just put a man on the moon, Woodstock was changing music forever, and the US Mint was busy striking billions of pennies. But within that sea of copper coins, a rare anomaly emerged. These weren't just any pennies. Certain 1969 D coins bore flaws so unique, so rare, that collectors began whispering about them in hushed tones. Double-die errors, unusual minting quirks, and ultra-high grades turned what should have been pocket change into life-changing treasure. Here's the catch: most people never knew. They spent them, gave them away, or worse, let them vanish into coin machines. And with every passing year, the chances of finding one decrease. Imagine holding a fortune in your hands, only to let it slip away unknowingly. So, what exactly makes the 1969 D penny worth hundreds of thousands, and how can you know if the one in your pocket is the jackpot? Let's dive deeper. The 1969 D Lincoln penny is valuable primarily because of its condition and rarity. A regular circulated coin may only be worth a few dollars. But in uncirculated, pristine condition, especially with a high grade certified by PCGS or NGC, it skyrockets in value. In fact, one verified specimen reached a jaw-dropping $847,000 at auction. That's not just money, that's financial freedom. A college fund for your kids. A down payment on your dream home. Or, let's be honest, finally paying off those credit cards. Or maybe, you just buy a lifetime supply of coffee, because let's face it, that's the only thing keeping most of us going these days. But here's the urgent truth: these coins are not sitting around forever. Collectors are snatching them up, and each year, fewer and fewer are left in circulation. If you don't check your coins now, you could miss your chance to cash in. And here's where it gets really interesting: not all valuable pennies from 1969 carry the D mint mark. Some with no mint mark at all have shocked the numismatic world. But before we reveal that secret, let's finish with what you need to do today. Here's your action plan: start by checking every penny in your collection, your coin jars, even the ones buried at the back of your drawers. Look for crisp detail, unusual errors, and most importantly, that 1969 D mint mark. If you think you found something special, get it authenticated immediately. That single step could transform your financial future. So the next time you hear someone say, "It's just a penny," smile. Because you'll know that 1 cent could be your ticket to an $847,000 fortune. And if you think the 1969 D penny is rare, wait until you hear about the penny that collectors fight tooth and nail over, one so scarce, it's practically a ghost. Stay tuned, because that story could be the one that changes everything. Imagine this: you're holding a penny so ordinary, so plain, that you nearly toss it into a jar without a second thought. But what if that very coin, just a single 1965 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, could unlock nearly $500,000 right from the palm of your hand? Yes, you heard that right. A coin worth just 1 cent has been sold for an astonishing $432,000 in today's market. But here's the burning question: could you be sitting on one of these rare treasures right now? Before you say, "Come on, it's just a penny," let me remind you, the difference between a fortune and pocket change often hides in the smallest details. And trust me, you don't want to miss this. Because if you do, you might be unknowingly spending your retirement fund at the grocery store checkout line. Oh, and let's be honest, how many of us have thrown pennies into a wishing fountain? If you did that with a 1965 Lincoln cent worth nearly $500,000, congratulations, you just made the most expensive wish of your life. So, what makes the 1965 penny without a mint mark so unbelievably valuable? Let's break it down. First, a little history. In 1965, the U.S. Mint made a bold decision: no pennies, nickels, dimes, or quarters carried a mint mark. Why? To discourage collectors from hoarding coins during a national coin shortage. That means every 1965 Lincoln penny looks deceptively simple, with no mint mark at all. But here's where it gets interesting. Some of these coins were struck on rare transitional planchets, the wrong metal, the wrong weight, or struck under unusual conditions. And when grading companies like PCGS or NGC certify these coins in pristine condition, bam! The value skyrockets from 1 cent to hundreds of thousands. And here's the twist you didn't see coming: not all rare 1965 pennies are obvious. In fact, the most valuable ones look almost identical to the pocket change jingling in your car cup holder. So, how do you know if yours is the jackpot coin? Let me reveal the key signs collectors and million-dollar buyers are hunting for. Condition: if your 1965 penny is in near-perfect, uncirculated condition, it could be worth thousands alone. Add a unique error or rare strike, and you're looking at hundreds of thousands. Metal composition: some pennies from this era were accidentally struck on leftover silver dime planchets. If your penny looks slightly different in color, weight, or thickness, don't ignore it. That tiny detail could be your millionaire ticket certification. The true million-dollar coins are the ones authenticated and graded by trusted services. If you think you have something special, don't guess. Get it certified. One simple step could multiply your fortune overnight. Think about it: you've been hunting for wealth in the wrong places: stocks, real estate, maybe even lottery tickets. All along, it could have been hiding in your junk drawer next to old batteries and takeout menus. But here's the urgency: as awareness grows, collectors are racing to scoop up these rare coins. The longer you wait, the more opportunities you lose. So let me ask you directly: are you going to keep treating pennies like spare change, or will you start seeing them as potential keys to generational wealth? And remember this: your wealth could already be in your hands. The only question is, will you discover it before someone else does? If you found this video eye-opening, don't stop here. I've covered even more rare US coins, some worth millions, that could be hiding in plain sight. Watch the next video now, because the coin sitting in your pocket could be the story of your financial freedom. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out what looks like an ordinary penny, and discovering it could change your life forever. Now, what if I told you that a 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, something millions of Americans have tossed aside without a thought, is today valued at $943,000? That's right, nearly $1 million for a single coin. Sounds impossible? Well, stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this tiny coin is worth a fortune and how to find out if one is sitting right under your nose. And before you go checking your couch cushions, don't worry. I'll give you time later. Unless your couch has already swallowed half your paycheck this month. The Lincoln penny has been around since 1909. But in 1988, something unusual happened at the U.S. Mint. A few coins escaped into circulation with a rare anomaly, so rare, in fact, that collectors would later label them once-in-a-lifetime finds. Now, most pennies from 1988 are only worth face value. But this no-mint mark version, when combined with a unique die variety, transforms from pocket change into generational wealth. But here's the question: what makes this penny worth nearly $1 million, when its identical twin is worth just 1 cent? In the world of coin collecting, rarity, condition, and demand determine value. The 1988 no-mint mark penny contains a die variety error, specifically, a design element that shouldn't exist. These tiny mistakes are invisible to the casual eye, but once authenticated, collectors pay astronomical sums for them, and here's where the urgency sets in: there aren't many left. Every day, more are bought up by private collectors, tucked away into safes where the public will never see them again. So, should you start raiding your piggy bank, or would that just make your kids cry? Well, maybe both, if they're hiding $1 million penny from you. As of today, the highest confirmed auction price for this penny is $943,000. Let that sink in. That's more than the cost of most homes in America now. Think about this: a coin you might have ignored in a handful of change could be the ticket to financial freedom. It's the difference between worrying about bills and living with the comfort of true wealth. But here's the shocking part: it isn't just the 1988 penny. There are other years, other errors, hiding in plain sight. And I'll reveal one that could be sitting in your wallet right now. Here's the bigger picture. Coins like the 1988 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny are more than collectibles, they're keys to rewriting your financial story. A simple coin can turn decades of financial struggle into sudden, unimaginable opportunity if fear keeps most people from checking: fear of disappointment, fear of wasting time. But ask yourself, what's scarier? Looking and finding nothing, or never looking, and realizing too late that you let a fortune slip through your fingers? If you've got a jar of old pennies tucked away somewhere, don't ignore it. Inside could be the very coin that shifts your future forever, because while today the record price sits at $943,000, tomorrow, it could be higher. Collectors are hunting, the market is heating up, and availability is shrinking. So check your change, check your jars, check that shoebox in the attic. And before you go, remember, this isn't the only coin worth millions. In my next video, I'll uncover a coin from the 1970s that's shocking collectors with prices few ever thought possible. Trust me, you won't want to miss that one. Subscribe now to stay ahead of the curve. Because in the world of rare coins, knowledge isn't just power, it's wealth.